Some pickup trucks are so rare they're almost mythical. Were they groundbreaking innovations or just bizarre experiments? Let's uncover 10 limited edition pickup trucks you've probably never seen. The Ford Durango isn't just rare, it's a mystery on wheels. Created in the late 1970s by National Coachworks, this hybrid of a truck and an SUV aimed to fill a niche that no one fully understood at the time. It wasn't built by Ford itself, but rather converted from ranchero wagons. Its power came from a 302 cubic inch V8 engine producing 135 horsepower and 243 pounds per foot of torque. While its 0 to 60 time wouldn't win any medals, its utility and style made it stand out. Topping out at 100 miles per hour, the Durango was perfect for cruising in the era of bell-bottoms. The original price was $8,000. Today, a rare survivor might fetch $30,000 or more. With only about 200 ever made, it's practically a ghost. Was the Durango a solution to a problem no one had, or did it simply arrive before its time? Speaking of rare, our next truck turns limited edition into an art form. What happens when a truck doesn't just get creative, it redefines sustainability itself? Meet the Powell pickup. The Powell pickup was the green vehicle of the 1950s, though not by today's standards. Powell Manufacturing repurposed old Plymouth chassis to create these quirky pickups. The result was a functional, no-nonsense truck with a personality all its own. Under the hood, it featured a flathead 6-cylinder engine producing 97 horsepower and 170 pounds per foot of torque. Sure, it wasn't a speed demon, but it was built for utility. One of its standout features was a fishing rod compartment integrated into the body, a touch of genius for outdoorsy drivers. Priced at $1,200, it was affordable even by mid-century standards. Today, these trucks are ultra-rare, with only 1,200 ever made. Finding one in decent condition could cost upwards of $50,000. Would the Powell pickup thrive in today's sustainability-driven market, or would it be dismissed as too simplistic? Let's keep cruising through history, shall we? Plymouth wasn't a name you typically associate with pickups, but in 1939, they made their mark with the PT57. Its streamlined Art Deco-inspired design made it as much a piece of art as a functional truck. Powering the PT57 was a 201 cubic inch flathead 6-cylinder engine with 82 horsepower and 140 pounds per foot of torque. Its modest powertrain offered a top speed of 65 miles per hour, which was decent for the time. But the real magic lay in its aesthetics: curved fenders, a sleek grille, and a build quality that set it apart from its boxier competitors. The PT57 wasn't just a workhorse, it was a symbol of innovation. Plymouth designed it with a reinforced frame for heavy loads, making it a favorite among small business owners during the pre-World War II era. Originally priced at $600, these trucks are now collector's items, with pristine models fetching up to $50,000. Fun fact, the PT57 was one of the last vehicles Plymouth built before shifting focus entirely to passenger cars. Here's an unusual twist. Plymouth even offered a kit that allowed owners to turn their PT57 into a makeshift camper. Talk about versatility. Did Plymouth miss an opportunity to redefine the luxury truck market before it existed? Could the next truck on our list have been a kingpin in the truck world if history had taken a different turn? Let's explore the Studebaker L5. The Studebaker L5 was more than just a truck. They were a necessity during the Great Depression. Manufactured in the early 1930s, it was advertised as a low-priced car of unpretentious reliability for farmers and businessmen. Its straight six engine of 205 cubic inches outputs 71 horsepower and 140 pounds per foot of torque. It had a maximum speed of 55 miles per hour, and as we can see today, the automobile was designed for longevity rather than speed. Its cost, which came down to $675, has always made it possible to afford, and the design exceeded expectations for the period. Here's a twist. Studebaker almost became the truck kingpin of America. By the 1950s, their innovative designs and loyal fan base put them in a position to dominate. But internal financial troubles forced them out of the truck game. Studebaker's trucks often outperform their rivals in terms of durability and style. Had the company secured better funding, we might have seen Studebaker leading the truck market alongside Ford and GM. We're picking up speed now. Get ready for some serious muscle. Emissions regulations in the 1970s? No problem. Chevy sidestepped them with the Big 10, a truck built to deliver higher payloads and serious performance. It was essentially a muscle car in truck form. One of the Big 10's key selling points was its ability to sidestep emissions laws, thanks to its classification as a heavy-duty vehicle. This loophole allowed it to pack more power than most trucks of its era. The Big 10 came with several engine options, but the 454 cubic inch V8 stole the show, producing 240 horsepower and 355 pounds per foot of torque. It could tow, haul, and still manage to hit a top speed of around 110 miles per hour. Priced at $4,000 new, it's now a collector's favorite, valued at over $50,000. Chevy also added extra suspension to the Big Ten, giving it superior handling for heavier loads compared to standard C10 models. It wasn't just brawn, it had brains in the engineering department too. Fun fact, the Big Ten wasn't just about power. It was part of a broader trend of performance-focused pickups that paved the way for today's sport trucks. Our next truck is a sleeper hit. Ford took a gamble with its unibody trucks from 1961 to 1963, integrating the cab and bed into one seamless piece. While this created a sleek look, it also introduced structural issues, particularly under heavy loads. While the unibody design was ahead of its time, it also suffered from water leakage issues, leading to early rust problems. It was as much a design experiment as a practical vehicle. Under the hood, options included a 223 cubic inch straight 6 with 137 horsepower or a 292 cubic inch V8 generating 186 horsepower and 280 pounds per foot of torque. It had a top speed of 90 miles per hour and originally sold for about $2,000. Today, these trucks are rare finds, often selling for over $30,000. Interestingly, the unibody concept was revived decades later in modern compact trucks like the Ford Maverick. Perhaps Ford knew they were onto something all along. What if Ford had perfected the unibody design? Would we see more integrated trucks today? Let's keep this unibody momentum going. The Hudson Terraplane pickup was the truck that dared to combine elegance with utility. Produced in the 1930s, it showcased Hudson's commitment to quality and innovation. Its 212 cubic inch straight 6 engine delivered 96 horsepower and 180 pounds per foot of torque, giving it a top speed of 85 miles per hour. Impressive for its time. Priced at just $575, surviving models now fetch over $70,000. The Terraplane wasn't just popular in the US, it became a hit overseas too. In Australia, it was often used for rural transport thanks to its rugged build and reliable engine. This wasn't just a truck, it was a symbol of Hudson's forward-thinking approach. But could it have inspired a luxury pickup trend if Hudson had survived longer? You'll love what's next, a truck built for survival. International Harvester was all about utility, and the L120 embodied this philosophy. Built in the 1950s, it was a no-nonsense truck for hard-working Americans. Its 220 cubic inch inline-6 engine produced 100 horsepower and 180 pounds per foot of torque, delivering dependable performance for daily tasks. Priced at $1,500, it was a solid investment. Today, a restored L120 can fetch up to $40,000. What set the L120 apart was its availability in multiple configurations, from single cab to stake bed models, ensuring it could tackle just about any job. Today, international trucks remain a symbol of American ingenuity, often displayed proudly at vintage car shows across the country. Could International Harvester have rivaled Ford and Chevy in the truck market if it had stayed in the game longer? What do you think? Let's venture into the desert for our next contender. Off-road enthusiasts in the 1990s couldn't get enough of the Nissan Desert Runner. This truck was designed for the trails with rugged suspension and a tough-as-nails build. Its 3.3-liter V6 engine pumped out 170 horsepower and 200 pounds per foot of torque, giving it enough power to handle tough terrains. With a top speed of 115 miles per hour, it wasn't just rugged, it was fast. Originally priced at $19,000, it's now valued at $25,000. Built with off-road enthusiasts in mind, the Desert Runner featured reinforced shocks and a skid plate to handle rocky terrains with ease. It wasn't just fast, it was nearly indestructible. Now, do you think that a modern Desert Runner could dominate today's off-road market? Its modern equivalent, the Frontier Pro 4X, carries the Desert Runner's legacy, proving that Nissan's off-road prowess hasn't faded. Now, drumroll for the final truck. The Desert Runner might have ruled the trails, but what about a pickup that hides its power behind an unassuming facade? That's the story of the GMC Sonoma GT. The GMC Sonoma GT may initially have seemed like any plain vanilla pickup truck. First launched in the early 1990s, the Jimmy was not as well recognized as its sibling, the GMC Cyclone. It came equipped with a 4.3-liter V6 power plant that produced 195 horsepower and 260 pounds per foot of torque, and the car had a light-footed top speed of 120 miles per hour. Only 806 were produced and thus could be easily counted among the rarest trucks that were manufactured at that time. Where it was once sold for $16,000, it is now sold between $30,000 and $40,000. In a way, the Sonoma GT set the stage for today's sports trucks. It proved that one did not need thousands of horsepower to offer an exciting drive. What do you think? Was the Sonoma GT too ahead of its time, or did it simply get overshadowed by its flashier cousin? From Art Deco masterpieces to off-road legends, these limited edition pickups are more than trucks. They're time capsules. Which one is your favorite? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more automotive deep dives. Also, don't forget to check out our previous videos like the largest American cars ever made, when big and heavy ruled the roads. Until next time, keep cruising and keep dreaming.